Hey guys, welcome to Stacking the Shelves for the last few weeks. I'm a little rumpled today. I just got it from shoveling. We've had a couple of really big snowstorms at kind of the first of the season, which is almost spring, so it's kind of funny, here in Minnesota. So we were just out shoveling and snow blowing. Very exciting. Anyways, I do have quite a few books in my Stacking the Shelves list, so I thought I'd go ahead and do a post. I know I've been doing these like every 4 weeks. This might be a little bit earlier than normal, but yeah. So in the last like 3 weeks, I think I've got 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 books to go over. So I will go ahead and start talking about these. And a lot of these I've already read, so I will do little mini reviews. The first book I got is for review, and this is Joe Nothing's Guide to Life by Helen Fisher. This comes out May 28th, so pretty soon, a couple months. And I got from NetGalley to review. I honestly don't remember a lot about this one, but I read it. I thought it sounded like an interesting premise, and it's been getting really good reviews, so I thought I'd go ahead and request it. All right, I did buy one book, and that is Flight of the Scarab, which is the 7th book in the Elemental Web Tales by Anne Renwick. These are steampunk historical fantasy reads. Anne Renwick has a lot of like technical detail and medical detail she puts into her steampunk reads, and they kind of are like paranormal mysteries of a sort, but definitely historical, like steampunk. I really enjoy her writing style, and I really enjoy how much technical detail she puts into her books. I think it's kind of unique and intriguing, and being a technical person myself, I enjoyed it a lot. So very much looking forward to reading that, and I have not read it yet, but it is kind of on my short list of books I want to read soon. All right, then there are a whole bunch of audiobooks that I got, and I had been listening to. Ironically, a lot of these I've been listening to because I accidentally requested a diamond art thing for review from Amazon. I do reviewing for Amazon, and I didn't realize what the diamond art thing was. I thought it was like a watercolor, but in diamond art, you like take all these little teeny jewels and like put them on this adhesive in this film. Anyways, it took me many hours to do, but I was listening to a lot of audiobooks while I did that. And then I've also been listening to a lot of audiobooks while we're working on remodeling or renovating the house up in Duluth. So while I'm staining things or painting or whatever, I've been listening to audiobooks. So quite a few audiobooks. That's what I'm telling you. The first one I got is The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey. I did not like this. I thought it started out really interesting, but I didn't like how the plot went. I didn't like how it tied up. I didn't like the characters. There's a lot I didn't like about this, and you can visit my blog and read about that if you want to. I ended up giving it 2 out of 5 stars. Ironically, the next audiobook I listened to is also by Sarah Gailey, and that is River of Teeth, which is the first book. It's either called the River of Teeth series or the American Hippo duology. This one I liked. I gave 4 out of 5 stars. It's an alternate history where legislation was passed allowing Americans to farm hippos for meat in the kind of Baton Rouge area, like the marshlands, Louisiana, not marshlands, swamplands of Louisiana. This is a thing that actually almost happened. It was legislation that was brought forth and, didn't pass, but in this alternate history it did pass. And I thought this was very entertaining. It's kind of a fun idea for an alternate history. The characters are very quirky and fun to read about. And it's a novel. It's very short. The audiobook was only 4 hours long, and I really enjoyed it. The next audiobook I got was At Home in the World by Chis Oxenreider. And this one I think I gave 3 out of 5 stars. It was okay. I really liked the premise to start, but I didn't like where the book went. It's more of a memoir about a woman who travels with her family all over the world. They spend a whole year traveling, hitting every continent in the world with her 3 younger kids. I think it was 4 years old, and then it was like 8 and 12 or something like that. So kind of a broad range of ages for kids, and her and her husband travel. And the book, I was thinking the book would be about their travels and what they experienced and the challenges they had and all that stuff. Because the book starts out talking about like how important it is to travel with your family and your kids. And we did travel quite a bit with my son when he was younger, and I traveled quite a bit for work. And you know, we're kind of not doing as much of that now because we got it out of our systems. I think my son would like to do some more international travel, but we're just waiting for right now because he's pretty busy with school and stuff. Anyways, my issue with this book was it does spend a lot of time discussing religion and spiritual health. So there's a lot about talking to therapists and going into like monk monastery places and just dealing with spiritual health and mental health and things like that. I did not expect that so much. I was kind of looking forward to a story of like strategically, like how do you get to these places? What are the challenges when you get there? I wasn't thinking this was going to be some read about finding your purpose in life and what makes you happy, which is more what it is. And in this end, the book basically summarizes that the place you're always going to be happiest is with your family and friends. And I'm like, well, okay, thanks. That's not super super insightful to me. You know, and I just thought it was really weird how the book starts out talking about how important it is to travel, and then at the end it's like, oh, but you know, the place where you're gonna be happiest is just at home, so just, you know, stay there. Anyways, that's what I got out of it. I was not a big fan. Anyways, I'll stop talking about that. The next book I listened to on audiobook is The Secret Lives of Country Gentlemen by, I think it's K.C. Parker. Oh, I feel bad. Well, the book's here, the title, the author's name is over there, K.J. Parker, K something Parker. I don't know why I don't have it down. Anyways, this is the first book in the, I think it's called the Doomsday Chronicles or something like that. I don't know why I didn't write more of this down. Anyways, I gave this either 4 or 5 stars. I think 4 stars. This was a very cute historical romance about between 2 men, and it's about a man from London who inherits his father's estate, and he's been having kind of a thing going on with this guy who's visiting from the country, and when he inherits that estate, he finds out that the man that he only knows as Kent is actually out in the country, and I'm not going to say a lot more about that. And so he ends up living very close to this person, and there's just a whole bunch of shenanigans that happen with like smuggling and politics and all this stuff that goes on. But at heart, this is a romance, and it is very well done. It was so fun to read and very much one of those kind of like feel-good books. So yeah, I really like The Secret Lives of Country Gentlemen, and I will be reading the second book in that at some point. I just don't know. I got kind of a lot on my plate to read right now. All right, and the audiobook I'm actually listening to right now that I also got from the library is Two Twisted Crowns, the second book in the Shepherd King duology by Rachel Gillig. I think that's how you say her name. This has been okay. This is kind of a young adult dark fantasy, and I like some of the ideas around the magic and these magical cards and the kingdom like stuck with this curse and all this. It's this one, the second one, I'm in about 25% of the way through. It's really jumping a lot between characters, and I don't know, I'm just not liking it as much as the first one. So we'll see where it ends up, but I'm in the middle of that. And then the last audiobook that I got is Taste of Marrow, which is the second book in either the American Hippo or the River of Teeth duology, depending on where you look, by Sarah Gailey. And I like this as well. This kind of wraps up what started in the River of Teeth. I didn't like it quite as much as River of Teeth because it wasn't as focused on this like quest dealing with the rogue hippos as it was with some of the people from the first book, like trying to re-find each other and kind of tying up their lives together. So it was more about the people rather than about the crazy scenario of these like crazy hippos that are attacking people. Anyways, yes, so that was interesting. All right, and then I got a number of books from either Kindle Unlimited or the library that I have read. Some of them I haven't finished yet, but a lot of them I have. The first one I got from the library, and that was Lone Women by Victor Lavale. I don't know how to say that last name. It's L-A-V-A-L-L-E. This is the second book I have read by Victor Lavale, and the first one was The Ballad of Black Tom. Really enjoyed that one. Really enjoyed Lone Women as well. This is a weird book. It's about a woman who, I won't go into it too much, but she basically leaves a situation where her parents have been killed. She goes to Montana to make a claim of land there, and they have a policy that a person, it doesn't have to be a woman or a man, if they can survive on this piece of land for a year, they get to claim it as their own. I think it's a year, it might be 3 years, but they get to claim it as their own. And she's carrying a very mysterious trunk along with her that has mysterious things in it that you don't find out about till quite a bit into the book. But just watching her make this journey and survive all these things, and then the weird, dark, disturbing things that happen with this town that she's near and all that. Very well done. Laval does an amazing job of bringing in some of these dark, like Lovecraftian madness, weird elements into these novellas. And so I really enjoyed the dial.com. I also really enjoyed this book, Lone Women. After reading this, I basically went and put everything else he's written onto my wish list because it's just very unique stories, and I've really been enjoying his writing. All right, the second one I got from the library is Crudrat by Gail Carriger. This is set in the Tinkered Stars universe. I had just finished the Tinkered Stars Song trilogy, which was also in that universe, and really loved that. Crudrat I was not as much of a fan of, just because I felt like the beginning was pretty slow. I think I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. I just didn't really engage with the characters. The setup was very slow. Part of it was probably I already knew a lot of this world from reading the Tinkered Stars Song trilogy. I did really like the second half of Crudrat once things happen and you're dealing with more characters off of the wheel, but I didn't like it as much. So I also wanted to read The Fifth Ginger, which is another Tinkered Star book, like a standalone book set in that universe, and I'm kind of taking a break on that right now because I was a little disappointed in Crudrat, but I'll read it probably at some point. All right, the third book I got from the library read is What Feasts at Night by T. Kingfisher, and this is the second book in the Sworn Soldier series. This book kind of explores the whole Russian like night hag mythology. There's a lot of different variants of that where somebody's like soul or life force or whatever is sucked out from them at night. It's the same characters, a couple of the same characters from the first book in the series, which is What Moves the Dead. I like these. I think I have 4 or 5 stars. T. Kingfisher is a very kind of almost blunt, straightforward writing style that I enjoy reading occasionally. Lots of humor in them, kind of ironic humor, always a little bit horror, gore type in there. Like she doesn't shy away from descriptions, but also kind of an interesting exploration of kind of these weird mythologies. So I liked it. It's a quick read. No complaints. The next one I got was kind of one I picked up on a bit of a whim. I had seen a list about fantasy romance, and I was surprised to see a Nora Roberts book on there, which I have never read. I know Nora Roberts has a ton of books up there. I have never read a Nora Roberts book, so this is my first Nora Roberts book, but people were kind of raving about this one series. And so the first book in that series is Dance Upon the Air, which is the first book in the Three Sisters trilogy by Nora Roberts. And I really liked this. It was very good. I think I gave it like 4.5 out of 5 stars. It is definitely more of a like paranormal romance, but it's set in a small town and has that very like cozy small town feel. It's about witches and power, and this woman is leaving a really bad situation and trying to kind of get on her own 2 feet, and she finds this island and finds out she's like kind of part of the magical legacy of the island, and it's just very well done. I liked all the characters and the sense of community and the romance and the magic, and it's just one of those kind of small town cozy contemporary fantasy books. So I do plan on reading the next 2 books in the series, which is, you know, it's called Three Sisters, which is about a couple of other witches on the island that kind of find romance, and at the same time they're dealing with like a curse on the island. So again, one of my favorite formats of stories, like there's a contained story, but there's also a bigger plot that's like bridging these books. All right, the one I'm reading right now, and the 5th one I got from the library, is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I also read The Story Life of A.J. Fikri, something like that, by her and enjoyed that. I'm in the middle of this right now. I'm about 30% of the way through. I'm enjoying this. I am not sure what's going on with this story exactly. It's kind of following these two characters that develop a video game, and we're bouncing into their past and then back to the present and kind of finding out how they get to where they are and where they're going. And there's like excerpts from like interviews. Apparently they get to be really famous gamers, and we're reading excerpts from like interviews with famous outlets and people as they're getting to that point. We'll see where it goes. A lot has happened in the first like 35%. It's a relatively long book. So I'm working on that one. All right. Then the sixth book I got from the library, actually got this from Kindle Unlimited, sorry, is The Magical Midlife Awakening, which is the 9th book in the Leveling Up series by K.F. Breen. I have not read this yet. It, again, is on the short list. I'll hopefully be reading it soon. Yeah, this is a paranormal fiction thing about gargoyles and shapeshifters and stuff. Very much like urban fantasy, paranormal, like classic type of things. The only big difference is it features older characters. So most of the characters in this book are like in their 40s, which I kind of enjoy. And we're just gonna have to deal with this hair thing because it's a mess after being out in the snow. Okay, 2 more books to talk about. The seventh one I got from the library is The Children of Chaos, which is the 2nd book in the Cruel God series by Trudy Skies. I did just finish the first book in that series, which I am blanking on. The Cruel Gods is the name of the series. What was the name of the book? Anyways, you can look it up. I really enjoyed that book. It has very intriguing world building, and it's a little bit confusing at the beginning of the book, but as you realize the world that's being built, very fascinating. There are 2 characters you go back and forth in between. Again, there is a romantic element to it, but it's much more about this one woman finding out she can do strange things and that not fitting into the world these gods have made. So, and then a man who's supposed to kind of enforce in this city of Chime, what people are and what they do, and finding out how he got there, and then like how he's trying to support a rebellion against some of that. I did not explain that well, but the world building in the Cruel God series is amazing, and I really enjoyed the characters as well and the concepts. So that was also a very long book, so it took me quite a bit of time to read that last week, and it'll be a little bit before I get to reading the 2nd book. All right, then the next book I got, and the last book I got, I also got through the library, and that is Paladin's Faith by T. Kingfisher, another T. Kingfisher book. It's kind of weird to have 2 by her on this list. That is the 4th book in the Saints of Steel series. This is I guess I would probably say fantasy romance again, because it's about a order of paladins, and each one in the series is about a specific paladin who ends up finding, interacting with a woman that he ends up falling in love with. And it has a significant effect on his life as a paladin, right? Because the paladins are just dedicated to their one god, and that's their lifestyle. They're basically, paladins. And it's fun because there's a lot of humor. It's very much fantasy. And I don't know, it's been kind of a fun fantasy world. If we like Dungeons and Dragons types of stories and stuff like that with a little bit of romance, it's very hardcore, like swords and sorcery fantasy, which there isn't a lot of, I feel like there's not a lot of that out there. There's a lot of like political fantasy and pure romance fantasy and stuff like that, and epic fantasy, but there's not just a lot of fun like swords and sorcery fantasy out there. So looking forward to reading that. I might even get the audiobook, because I think I listened to the first 3 audiobooks with my family, and I might want to listen to that one with my family as well. Okay, so this was a little bit longer. Sorry about that. But yeah, those are the books I got. Again, I think there were 16 of them or something like that, and it was getting a little bit backlogged, so I thought I might as well do a stacking the shelves so I don't start forgetting what books that I got. And of course, after I got this all organized to do, I got a couple more books for review, but that'll just have to wait till next time. And since this is so long, I am going to kind of cut this off. I will be doing a best books of March either next week or the week after, and I can do a little bit more of a life update and chit chat in that post. anyways, hope you enjoyed seeing what I got and my little mini reviews of these. I will talk to you guys in a week or two. Bye.